Hello everyone, this lecture is on trigonometry. For you to do well in AP Calculus, you need to have a strong foundation in trigonometry. The problem is everybody hates it and forgets about it, and well, honestly, ever since I've taught it, everybody hates trigonometry. So hopefully I teach this well enough so that you understand it. You don't have to love it, but just understand how it works. So first of all, you should know the 6 basic trig functions. We have sine, which is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent, opposite over adjacent. Usually it's taught with this mnemonic device, SOHCAHTOA, which means if you ever forget, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So that's how you remember the 3 basic trig functions. The other 3 are, you could say, complementary functions of the previous 3. Cosecant and sine are complementary, so cosecant is 1 over sine. Cosine and secant are partners, so secant is 1 over cosine. And tangent and cotangent, cotangent is 1 over tangent. Or another way to think about it, it's sine flipped, it's cosine flipped, and it's tangent flipped. Other identities that you need to know, tangent is also the same thing as sine over cosine, which means cotangent, since the flip of tangent is cosine over sine. There are a few identities you need to know. The most important identity you need to know is this one over here, sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. The reason why is because you could figure out these other 2 identities. I'll talk about it in class just based on this one. So the only thing that you really need to remember is this one, sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. There's also the symmetry identities. This one's even hard for me to memorize, but just so you know, sine of negative x is the same thing as negative sine x. Cosine negative x is still the same thing as cosine x. And tangent negative x is the same thing as negative tangent x. Again, it's pretty confusing, but if you can memorize this, again, it helps you out a lot. Special triangles you need to know. We're going to talk about this in class, but you should know, or you should at least remember that the 2 special triangles are 30, 60, 90 and 45, 45, 90. If you get these special types of triangles, you get great ratios for the sides of a triangle. So for example, in 30, 60, 90, the one across from 30 is x. The one across from 60 is x radical 3, and the hypotenuse is 2x. So every time you have a 60, 30, 90, you get that special triangle, these special ratios of the sides. 45, 45, 90 is kind of easy. Since it's isosceles, the sides are both x, and the hypotenuse is x radical 2. So it's very simple to figure out these ones, and I'll show you how to use that later. Evaluating trig functions. So coterminal angles are angles that end up in the same place in 360 and 2 pi. So basically, as you go all the way around, you get the same angle. So we always start, let me make an axis here. We always start here at 0 and go around all the way around to 360. Okay. So what happens is that, for example, this is 30 degrees. Let me make this bigger for you. Let's just say this is 30 degrees, right? If I go all the way around, let me use a different color. If I go all the way around and hit 360 and go 30 degrees more, that becomes 390 degrees. So what I'm saying is that 390 and 30 degrees are pretty much the exact same thing. Because I go all the way around them and end up in the same area. Same thing goes for radians. I just gave this example in degrees because everybody likes and remembers degrees. So for example, we're not going to do all of these, but you should be able to figure out what the 6 trig functions are for the given angle. So if I say like, oh, what's sine of theta, right? That's the same thing as saying, what is the sine of 5 pi over 3? So I just realized that we haven't gone over, or you probably haven't memorized the unit circle. We'll go over that in class. But, you know, in the meantime, you could also use a calculator. Remember, you get a graphing calculator in class, so you could find out what sine 5 pi over 3 is. How the unit circle works, let me give you the shortcut. So here is the unit circle, and again, we'll go over this in class. There's the unit circle. In a unit circle, the radius for every direction is a radius of 1. That's